Okay, this video is going to have a little bit more lecture and a little less examples as I try to give you an overview of cascading style sheets. Cascading style sheets, you'll see it abbreviated as CSS all the time, was developed after HTML. And the concept was to separate the design or the look of the document apart from the structure of the document. So when we're planning our pages, when we want to put an element on a page, so if I want to put an image on a page or a paragraph on a page or a table or a form or some structure on the page, I'll do that using an HTML tag. What cascading style sheets allow me to do is come in behind and change the look or the appearance of the page using the styles. So we'll try to make things pretty or more, professional looking, etc. By using these styles. Now, the styles also allow us to do a few things that our HTML tags won't allow us to do. So we'll talk about this as we go. But what I want to accomplish in this is, first of all, I want to talk about the basic structure of a CSS statement. And then I want to talk about the different types of style sheets and how they interact with each other. So the first thing we need to do is talk about what a cascading style sheet looks like. The way we type it looks very different from the HTML. We don't have greater than, less than signs. We can attach these to tags, but for now I'm just going to type a basic statement. Most of the time you would see what is called the selector. Now the selector can be, in this case, we're going to talk just about redefining an HTML tag. So the selector we're going to use is going to be an HTML tag. So in this case, let's say I want to redefine all of the A tags on the page. And so what this will do is, when the browser interprets this, it sees that there are instructions on how to handle the link, and anytime it encounters a link, then it will apply the style that we have predefined. So I'm going to write what's called an embedded or an external style sheet, and it'll make more sense in a minute. But what I'm going to do now is open up curly braces to write the declaration. The selector is what is going to be changed, and inside here in the declaration what we're going to do is we're going to type what is actually going to be changed and what it's going to be changed to. So what I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to do a very simple style, and I'm going to say that the declaration property that I want to change is the color of the A tag, and then colon, I'm going to tell it what value I want to give it. By default, the A color in the browser is that royal blue. You're all familiar with it. Links default to blue. But if we want to change that, then I can go ahead and add a new color. And so what this does is it redefines the selector, in this case the HTML tag A. It changes the color property and assigns it a new value. Now this combination of the property and the value is known as the declaration, and so you need to get that vocabulary down a little bit in your mind, so when you're reading your textbook or you're making changes to your pages and you are going through a tutorial or something, you can understand the differences between those. So now let's talk about the types of styles. And it's very important that we understand the different types of styles, what they're intended to do, and how they affect each other. But there are three types. There are inline styles, there are embedded styles, and then there are external styles. Now these three all have what's called scope. In other words, what do they affect on a page? And they go from very narrowly defined to very broadly defined. So let's talk about an inline style first. An inline style is usually attached, it's not usually, it's always attached to an HTML tag, and it only affects the extent or the length or the duration of that tag. So let me give you an example of how an inline style works. Let's say that we want to change the background property of one of our paragraphs. So we open up the paragraph tag, we have here is some text, and then we close the paragraph tag. If we want to change the background of just this paragraph, we can add an inline style as an attribute to the HTML tag. So I can come in here and use what's called the style attribute, and I can set it equal to the declaration. Now the syntax or the rules of grammar here don't really require the selector or the curly braces because it's tied to the selector here in the HTML tag. So then all we really need to do is set the style. In this case, and you don't have to worry about the actual properties that I'm changing now, we'll go over a lot of those later, but I'm going to change the background color to red. And so the way this works, the browser comes in, it says, okay, I'm going to make a paragraph. Oh, hey, I'm going to apply a style to it. I need to change the background color of this paragraph to red, just following the instructions. And it goes about its business and does exactly that until it hits this closing P tag. And since this style is tied to this specific P tag, then the style ends when that tag ends as well. So it's very targeted. It's usually spot checking or changing one thing on the page instead of making sweeping changes like the next two will. So the embedded is a little bit broader in scope. It's usually in the head section of the document, and it applies to the entire page that it's included on. And so if I change the A tag in an embedded style sheet at the top of the page, it means all tags in that page that match the selector will receive the style. And it looks a little something like this.